I'm here at Goodwood and sitting in a Fiat 131, which is a genuine Fiat rally car. It was originally driven in period by Marco Allen, and won a couple of the WRC rounds that it competed in. But I'm also fortunate enough to have one of the 200 road cars that were built in order for this car to compete successfully.
Yeah, so today I'm sat in one of Colin McRae's old Subarus out of the Group A days in the 90s. This was one of his legacies that he drove. He drove it all over the world, mainly WRC in Europe and Finland. It was a famous car there for rolling it and continuing on and finishing the rally after 3 rolls. I've been into motorsport for my whole life. And while I didn't start very young, I started about, competitively racing at 14 or so. I was always around the cars. And my dad, at that point, by about when I was 8, 9, 10 years old, he had started acquiring some of these really historically significant cars. So even though I wasn't driving when I was 8, 9, 10, I was sitting in these cars and smelling them and feeling them, and it gets you hooked really early.
I'm driving the Subaru Impreza over there that Petter Solberg has been in, and I'm also driving the Escort behind you. That's a rear-wheel drive beast that I love very much. Motorsport has been around my whole life, of course. You don't really grow up with, with my dad and brother around without getting into motorsport somehow. I was an equestrian my whole life. It took up all of my time, and I didn't really get the rally bug until a little later, until actually in the midst of COVID when I had nothing else to do, and was really lucky to have DirtFish in my backyard.
Having grown up with rally cars and actually participated a little in rallying in my late teens, I came to my midlife crisis and decided I might want to revisit some of my youth, and I thought, well, what better place than to start with rallying.
DirtFish came out of passion mainly, and when we moved to the U.S., we bought some land and built a rally school on it, and decided what's the best way to continue rally, and it was to teach other people how to do it, especially in a place like the U.S. where rally isn't as much of a top tier sport. You have a lot of open car, open wheel stuff in the U.S., but you don't have a lot of rally. So the intention with DirtFish was to really elevate the sport of rally and bring some attention to it. And like I said, I think the best way to do that and to get people hooked on it, you have to get them in a car. So that was our intention, to get as many people as we could in a car. And it grew much bigger than we intended, and here we are today.
So now at DirtFish, I somehow convinced them to give me a job a couple of years ago. And now I am the head of strategy at DirtFish, as well as the Women in Motorsport coordinator. So the Women in Motorsport program is really kind of my baby of a project, and I'm lucky to be at DirtFish every day, playing with rally cars and working with the best team in the world.
So rally was at the core of my motorsport passion, but my distinct recollection growing up surrounded the Porsche 930 Turbo. So from those early days, the Porsche has been a big piece of my memory and my passion on the road car side of life. I was lucky enough to buy my first 911 when I was working in London around about 1987. And since then, I've been fortunate enough to add more Porsches to what is a growing collection.
One of the other events that we do annually as well is Monterey Car Week in Pebble Beach, Concours d'Elegance, and we met Alex there by happenstance at a Porsche event, and he was there with the blue 964 that was just recently completed. And it drew our eye from a bit away.
And it was something that immediately attracted attention, and in my mind was something that was intriguing and something that was attractive and is very positive from an environmental perspective.
One of the big sells from Everrati was, here is a classic in every sense 911. We'll put an electric engine in it, but we'll do it in a way that doesn't change the proportions and the balance of the car itself. So it keeps the true characteristics of a 911, which is what people love. And I know it's not only 911s that Everrati does, but we have a passion for 911s, and we centered it on a 964. And it was actually at the same meet that we saw a 911 in beautiful color, and we found out it was oak green metallic. And so we said, wouldn't it be fun to build a 911 similar to the blue one that was there, in oak green metallic with our own personal touch to it? And it kind of just came to life after that. And we're going on just about a year now of ideating on it and running through different processes, finding the donor car, and working hand in hand with Everrati on it.
I thought this would be a great addition to something that is motorsport based, but this is a car that I view will be used easily on a daily basis, will provide as much enjoyment and exhilaration as any of the motorsport derivative cars that I have. And I wanted to have something that at least my kids in the future may be able to continue using in 10, 20, 30 years time, and enjoying and experiencing what I've been fortunate enough to experience over the years.
Yeah, well, I think we're lucky because even 5 years ago or so, using Zoom and using Google Meet and all that to interact and be able to actually put together something as serious and as complex as this from over the sea is huge. And so we've spent a lot of time on Google Meet and Zoom with you guys and going through every single little detail of it and piece of it. There's seemingly an endless amount of options, which is the fun part and the exciting part. And I know you could go to the nth degree with it, which is enjoyable. And it feels like you're not working within a box. It feels like you're really customizing something of your own. With you guys and Everrati, there is quite a bit of there's a bit of nuance to it, and there's quite a bit of complexity that you can bring to the table, and you can personalize it how you want it to.
Well, it's a pretty consistent situation that arises when Dad or James come home and say that they've had an idea, or they've found something new, or they've gotten excited about some type of new build. But now that I know about it, I'm so excited. They've given me the right to name the car, so I'm pitching it's going to be green. I'm pitching to call it Evergreen. We live in the Evergreen state, a little combination of Everrati, in there as well. So really excited. We got the leather samples for the seats the other day. Beautiful. So I'm excited to see what happens, and I'm excited to commandeer it once it shows up.
I've been really fortunate that motorsport and cars have allowed me to connect and continue connecting with both my kids. We're looking forward to receiving the car later this year and it joining a collection which has that motorsport theme, but also is something that has an element of each of our family involved. I think when you look at the finished product, we're hoping to combine some classic 911 features, some motorsport features, and something that looks to the future.